Hello everyone! Before we proceed to our lesson for today, let's have a short recall of one of the basic concepts in algebra, and that is the variable. Let us remember that a variable is any letter from the English alphabet representing possible values of quantity. Variables represent unknown values. For example, 3x plus 2. So this expression means 3 times x, whatever the value of x is, plus 2. So let us remember that one because we will be using it in evaluating algebraic expressions by substituting the value of the variable. Now let us take note that substitution is a process of replacing or substituting a number of a variable. Then, we follow the order of operations to simplify the given expressions or equations. For example, if we have 75 minus z, and it's given that z is equal to 25, we will have it as 75 minus 25. Again, it's given that the value of z is 25, so we just have to replace z with its value, which is 25. So 75 minus z is equal to 75 minus 25, and that will give us 50. So the value of the expression, or the simplified form of the expression 75 minus z, when z is 25, is equal to 50. Let's have some more examples. Let us simplify 2c minus 20, given that c is equal to 15. Okay? So again, let us remember that if we have a term like this one, 2c, this numerical coefficient means we will multiply the variable c 2 times. Okay? It's given that the value of c is 15, so 2 times c will be equal to 2 times 15 minus 20. Again, in algebra, we no longer use x to imply multiplication. So instead, we'll be using a parenthesis. Okay? So since there's no operation in between these two and the parentheses, this means multiplication. So 2 times 15 minus 20. If we simplify it, we'll have 2 times 15 is 30 minus 20. That will be equal to 10. Therefore, the value of the expression 2c minus 20 when c is 15 is equal to 10. Another example, say we have 10y minus 7y over 2. Okay, it's given that the value of y is 4. As you notice, we have two y's in our expressions. So we will be replacing all these y's with the given value, which is 4. So we'll have here 10 times y will now be equal to 10 times 4. Then 7 times y will now be equal to 7 times 4. Then we just simply copy the rest of the expression. So we now have 10 times 4 minus 7 times 4 all over 2. Okay, following the GEMDAS rule, okay, we simplify using the GEMDAS rule. We'll now have 10 times 4 is equal to 40. Then 7 times 4 is equal to 28. Okay, between subtraction and division, remember in algebra, when we have a fraction, it means division. So between subtraction and division, we have to simplify first 28 over 2. So we'll have 40 minus 14. Okay, so 28 divided by 2 is equal to 14. So we now have 40 minus 14, that is equal to 26. So the value of the expression 10y minus 7y over 2 when y is equal to 4 is equal to 26. Another example, x squared minus x plus 2. Okay, it's given that the value of x is 5. So again, we have two x's here. So both of them will be replaced or substituted with 5. So if we do that, we'll now have 5 squared. Because it's x squared, the value of x is 5. So we'll now have 5 squared minus 5 plus 2. Again, in simplifying this expression, we will use the GEMDAS rule. Okay, so we have to find first the square of 5, and that will give us 25. Then we subtract 5 and add 2. So 25 minus 5 is equal to 20. Plus 2, that will give us 22. So the value of the expression x squared minus x plus 2 is equal to 22 when x is equal to 5. Let's have another one, 10a plus 5b. Okay, as you notice, we have here two different variables. We have a and b, and it's given that the value of a is 2 while the value of b is 3. Again, we will just substitute the given values to our variables. So 10 times a will become 10 times 2, then 5 plus b will become 5 times 3. So we have 10 times 2 plus 5 times 3 is equal to 20 plus 15, which is 35. So the value of the expression 10a plus 5b when a is 2 and b is 3 is equal to 35. Another example, 2 times the sum of 8m and 5n when m is equal to 10 and n is equal to 5. Okay, so in this case, we'll just have to substitute first the values of our variables. So we'll now have 2 times the sum of 8 times 10 and 5 times 5. Okay, as you notice, okay, so we already used parentheses for our multiplication. Okay, so 8 times 10 plus 5 times 5. Since we already used our parentheses, instead of using another parenthesis to group the sum of these two products, what we did is we used our brackets. Remember in the GEMDAS rule, for our grouping symbol, we always start from parentheses. Then when we already use the parentheses, we will proceed with using the brackets. Then after that, we'll use the braces. Okay, so in here, we already have parentheses. So to group these two, we'll have to use brackets. Okay, so let's continue. We now have 8 times 10 plus 5 times 5. Okay, so we'll have to simplify first what's inside the grouping symbol, just like in GEMDAS. So that will be equal to 80 plus 25. Okay, then again, we still have here parentheses. We're done simplifying the multiplication, so we can now remove the brackets. But instead, we'll change it into parentheses because we still need to simplify the product of these two. We have to add them first before we can multiply. Okay, so 8 plus 25 is 105. Then we multiply it to 2. That will give us 210. Therefore, the value of 2 times the sum of 8m and 5n when m is 10 and n is 5 is equal to 210. Another example, 100 minus 4x plus 14 all over 3y. It's given that x is 3 and y is 2. So again, we just have to substitute first. When we substitute the value of the variables or values of the variables, we'll now have 100 minus 4 times 3 plus 14 all over 3 times 2. So following the GEMDAS rule, we'll have 100 minus 12 plus 14 all over 6. Okay, in this case, we cannot do division yet because we don't have, because we have here 3 different numbers on top or in the numerator. So it's better if we will simplify first what's written above or what's given in our numerator before we divide it by 6. So we'll have 88 plus 14 over 6. Then 88 plus 14 is equal to 102. When we divide 102 by 6, that will give us 17. So the value of 100 minus 4x plus 14 all over 3y when x is 3 and y is equal to 2 is equal to 17. We can also separate these 3. Okay, you can have it as 100 over 6 minus 12 over 6 plus 14 over 6. Okay, then we, we follow the rules in subtracting similar fractions and the GEMDAS rule as well. But this will take longer. Okay, so it's better if we'll just use this one. Okay, there's no need for us to actually separate them. And that will be all for our lesson for today. I hope you learned a lot. Thank you for listening.